Profitability is top of mind for farmers in 2020, but more and more farmers are catching on that conservation and profitability go hand in hand. We traveled to southwest Iowa to chat with Ray Gaesser and his son Chris about their use of cover crops. Ray and Chris Gaesser of Corning discovered several years ago that no-till and terraces just weren't cutting it after 4 inches of rain fell on their farm in 1 hour. Now, with much of their land in cover crops, they're protecting their soil and keeping water and nutrients in place. They're also finding it can be a valuable income stream for years to come.
Well, on our farm, we've always been conscious and really forward thinking about how we care for the land and making sure that we keep our soil in place and clean up our water and sequester those nutrients at the same time. That aha moment was in May of 2010, and Chris and I were in the house watching it rain, and we watched it rain 4 inches in an hour. And we watched our terraces cascade water over from one to the next, at a depth of this deep. Had never seen anything like that. We thought at the time with our no-till, with our waterways, with our terraces, that we were doing a great job caring for the land. But those kind of rain events, are more than all those conservation practices can handle. And that's when we decided that we really did need to use cover crops to help protect the soil and reduce erosion almost to zero, even in those kind of events. As farmers, as those who are privileged to be able to care for the land, we think it's our responsibility, that we not only care for the land, but we provide those opportunities for our next generations.
Ideally, I want to keep farming for the rest of my life, and I hope somebody else can farm after me, and in the same way with all the land around here. It's a resource and it's an asset, and it's our job to preserve that asset.
We've had about half of our acres in cover crops, maybe 60%. So 25, 27, 3,000 acres, somewhere in there that we would actually get planted and established in the fall. This year we have about 150 acres of cereal rye on this farm. We rented this farm actually because of the cover crops that we grow. We've found it really valuable, not only protecting the soil, sequestering nutrients, allowing us to get on that land a little more quickly than our neighbors who till. It also eliminates, some of our weed pressure. And we're able to save, in many cases, save an herbicide application in the summer on our soybeans. So that's a really important savings. And more, I believe landowners will expect more from us. It's not just always about the cash rent. It's more about protecting their investment.
Eventually, I'd like to get to a point where we can put cover crops on 100% of our acres, but that's just, time is too much of a constraint right now. You make small improvements over time, right? And if you're not changing, then you're not advancing. So I guess that's what I was always taught, don't be afraid to try something new or do something different.
As we've grown more cereal rye and got some experience with it, and our neighbors know that we grow our own seed, they've been asking us if we could provide some cover crop seed for them as they want to increase their acres and establish their cover crop program. If we're going to meet the Iowa nutrient reduction strategy, if we're going to have those 12 or 13 million acres of cover crops every year in Iowa, that's a huge opportunity for a new business model, not only to grow the seed, to distribute the seed, to plant the seeds in the fall for those who don't have an opportunity or the time to get it done.
If you don't have a lot of acres, it doesn't make as much sense to grow your own, and we can help those people. We generally sell it at a lower rate than you can get it other places. It helps us diversify our rotation a little bit, or if we need to make some land improvements or just add another year of rotation to some land that's maybe not as good, to just kind of help with the erosion and things like that. It really helps in that front. And then if we can get a new crop or try something different and then help get some more people in on that, then it gives us a little bit of an advantage, but then we can help other people out with it too.
For our farm, we started out at a small scale and learned as we went, and now, we've got 10 years of experience, We're actually finding that right after the combine harvest, from mid-September until mid-October at least, we can just go out there with a spreader right behind the combine and spread a bushel an acre of our cereal rye. And for 5 years in a row now, we've had excellent emergence and excellent stands. So, you know, it really does save a lot on time. It also saves a lot on equipment cost rather than taking a drill and drilling it like we used to. So I think that's really important, and, you know, encourage that advancing of this program and that notion that, you know, it really can make a difference for all of us, not only in our soil and our water, but in our bottom line profit.